bringing Dr. Afshin Shahi in Leeds. Of course, this all centres, whether it's state institutions collapsing, it centres around the fact that they are collapsing because there is a war in the country. Resources are being squeezed, both from the south and the north, and that is because the Saudis are coming in from the north. The UAE, which is a coalition partner to Saudi Arabia, seems to control or seems to fight the south of the country. Give us your impression of how the war is actually affecting what Bara Shiban says, which is the institutions collapsing around everybody across the country.
I mean, we have to make this very clear that, even before the so-called Arab uprising, which some people regard as one of the main sparks of instability in Yemen, the country has been very vulnerable to insecurity and instability for a very long time. A number of decades has passed since formation of Yemen, initially as a unified state, and then basically there were two separate states, and then they unified again in the 90s. But effectively, in Yemen, we never had kind of a state with a kind of organic nation. What we have seen in the country over the last few decades, even after 1990 and kind of reunification of Yemen, practically has been a state without nation. And the country has been very fragmented in every sense of the term. In addition to that, I completely agree with the commentator in London that the war had a major impact on the infrastructure in the country. Basically, last year, around this time, some international organizations estimated that the war has costed the country around $14 billion. And this is a country which is facing with a lot of fundamental problems. And I'm not only talking about political problems, and I'm not only talking about problems that are related to the conflict. For example, Yemen not only is considered as the poorest country in the Arab world, but it has faced with a number of very difficult ecological issues and ecological problems like drought. And these problems together, combined with the war which has been kind of launched by Saudi Arabia, has created almost a perfect climate for the rise of kind of sub-state actors and transnational terrorist organizations like Al-Qaeda and ISIS in the region. Of course, this morning we heard that Saudi Arabia now is possibly thinking about kind of withdrawing from the country. But this is not necessarily a good news in itself, because even when they leave, we're going to see a major kind of power vacuum, and the problems that they have created and the impact that they had on the security and social and political infrastructure is going to pave the way for the rise of the widening activities of transnational jihadi organizations like ISIS.
Let me just bring in Mr.